I'm rolling. Yeah, and just talk to her. Yeah.
All right.
And so, what's your name?
My name is Carol Ruth Silver. I'm a lawyer and a former member of the Board of Supervisors here in San Francisco, and I've been working with OLPC for about 3 or 4 years.
And what areas have you worked with them in?
My interest is in Afghanistan, and I was with an organization, I am with an organization called Master Teachers by Satellite for Afghanistan, which had the same vision about the same time as the Media Labs at MIT, that technology could bridge the gap for children in Afghanistan who have no literacy, no schools at all. And when and our technology was going to be video satellite broadcasts, but when OLPC was announced in 2007 and 2008, we saw that this was better technology, and we switched our technology platform. And since that time, I've been working with OLPC in Afghanistan.
And then this question might be a bit of an overlap, but what was the OLPC moment that sort of got you hooked and sort of drives you?
Well, the first time that I saw an OLPC EXO computer was under Give One, Get One. I sent my check and I got my box and I said, hey, wow, this is it. This is much better than what we had been planning for Afghanistan, and we immediately began the process of changing our technology platform.
Cool.
Okay, you have. Do you think that there are some problem with cultural, with border cultural? You know, because it's different cultural. Maybe you have problem with some with kids, boys and girls, or you know.
Well, Afghanistan is full of cultural problems. Girls are not allowed to go to school in many areas, and boys are taught in the madrasas an archaic version of Arabic as their reading and writing skill, and they essentially graduate from that process as functionally illiterate in the common language. So for both boys and girls, there is a tremendous lack of education in the countryside, in the rural areas, which OLPC, technology, laptops, some version of the educational opportunities that we take for granted can bridge. In the schools, in the Ministry of Education schools, of which there are now a substantial number in Afghanistan, the quantity and the quality of education for both boys and girls, and there are both boys and girls in their schools, is less than it would be wonderful if it could be. For example, children in Afghanistan schools in the cities go to school in 2 shifts. So there's a morning shift and an afternoon shift, and the children come to school and they get about 50% of the education that children in America or Europe would get, because the time on task, the time of contact with a teacher, is a very important feature of education. The other features of education are feedback, and teachers who have 30 kids in a class, 3 classes for 3 hours, don't have the time to do feedback, to give homework. That's another factor. And the third is resources, library type resources. So in a briefing note that we submitted to USAID and the State Department, we have called for significant investment for Ministry of Education existing schools in Afghanistan in OLPC or equivalent technology to expand the number of hours that children are learning, the feedback that they can get, because the computer can give them constant feedback, and the resources, the huge library that an OLPC computer represents of books, of Wikipedia, of information, even of the textbooks that the Ministry of Education has approved. All textbooks for 4th, 5th, and 6th grades are loaded onto the OLPC computers that are distributed in the deployment that we recently did in Kandahar. I had the honor of handing an OLPC XO laptop computer to about 200 and some odd little girls, and we also had little boys receiving them. There were 700 total laptops deployed to 4th, 5th, and 6th grades.
So another question. Do you think the madrasas teachers and the children are excited because now they can connect with whole world?
Are they understanding that they can connect to the whole world? Not day one. They have to, we have to train the teachers, which OLPC Afghanistan did do. It had about 2 weeks of training, and every teacher got their own laptop computer. And over a relatively short period of time, hopefully, each of those teachers began to see the wonder of being connected to the world. And they now, hopefully, are conveying that to the girls and the boys. And the collaboration that we saw as the children got their laptops, went back to their classrooms, and sat together and looked at each other's laptops and began to collaborate, began to chat about what they were doing, was wonderful.
What was the most challenging thing, the thing that got you closest to giving up?
The fact that in Afghanistan one has to worry every moment about suicide bombers. And when we flew from Kabul to Kandahar, we drove along a road where it was, we went by a number of roadblocks where there were almost perfect circles in the road, which is where recently there had been a bombing. So in Afghanistan, the biggest challenge is not education, it is not the ministry, it is not the teachers, it is the really very, very substantial danger. It is still a war zone. But in terms of the educational effect of these laptops, there is nothing but positive feedback, so far anyway, from the teachers, from the Ministry of Education. The guy from the Ministry of Education who came to one of these conferences, the last one at Maho, stood up and said, I'm from the Ministry of Education and we have about 4,000 laptops right now. My goal, he said, is to make that 3 million laptops.
And then what piece of wisdom, like sort of hard-fought wisdom, would you pass on to people coming after us?
Well, coming after us to create new deployments.
New deployments where you can take it as broad or as narrow as you'd like to.
I think the key that has not been done, the most important thing that we have not seen done in the deployments in Afghanistan and some deployments elsewhere that I am aware of is to involve the parents from the beginning, to have not just the teachers and the ministry people and the children come from homes where the parents say, oh, that's wonderful, you're going to get a laptop, but they have no idea what that really means. The children have never seen a laptop before. Most of these children have never seen a light bulb before. They come from a household that has no electricity. When USAID makes a distribution to that community, they give them large bottles of cooking oil or sacks of rice because they are agrarian and they are marginal and they are subsistence farmers, and if they don't get aid like that, they're not going to eat. So it's a different level when you're talking about people whose whose annual income is $300 or $350 a year versus people in Uruguay or people in San Francisco, where you can do different things with the laptops.
Excellent. That was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very much.